Hi Portland Fire and Rescue, I'm Jessica Cohn, your wellness coordinator. Today we're going to be performing knee rehab 2. All you need, if you have it, is actually a barbell today, but what we can also use is a dumbbell or a foam roller. We're going to start with some dynamic stretching, and you're going to start with your feet nice and wide, very slow and easy. Just inch out to a good straight arm plank position, and then inch back. Inch out nice and slow, and inch back. Keep your feet nice and wide. And this will help, especially if you got longer limbs, tighter hamstrings. Keep them feet wide and just inch back even to where you can keep the legs straight. If you can't and you're coming in, you could bend a little bit. But ideally, we're working towards keeping the legs straight as we can, even if we can't inch very far back and forth. So now hold your hands where you can keep the legs straight as you can. Even if it's far out, you're gonna reach up and twist and reach up to the other side. You should notice a stretch here in the inner thigh and in your back. So go ahead and continue twisting and reaching. Now I want you to inch back out, push-up position. You're going to bring one leg in front to our lunge stretch. I want you to do nice big wide circles in one direction, about 10 circles, just leaning on all angles through the foot. So I lean to the side, to the front, to the outside. Now go about 10 circles in the other direction. And keep your hands pretty wide from the foot. This hand can even swing to the outside. That'll help with your stability there. Try to keep the back knee lifted if you can. Now, same leg, I want you to lean, drop the back knee, lean as far forward as you're comfortable, and then very slowly push back. This is one that we do in knee rehab 1. We're just gonna build off of this lunge sequence here. If you're experiencing knee pain doing these, maybe just go to a range that you're able to without too much pain. You might have like a little bit of 4 or so out of 10 discomfort. The more flexible we get you, hopefully the less pain you'll experience, but we gotta kind of work through that immobility at first. So now, this one, go really wide with your hand and your knee, and we're going to place the same hand. So my right leg's forward, my right hand's going on my right knee. I'm going to push the knee out and kind of rock my foot very gently, and then turn against it and back in. Turn against it, back in. Really feeling this in that outer hip. If you're able to get the arm straight, you turn, which is tough to do. So it's just a angle you're working towards, but the wider you can get with this hand and foot, that'll help. Now we're going to drop the front knee down to a pigeon pose. If you need to be more like a 90-degree pose here, that's fine, but you're going to try to go to a pigeon pose and very slowly walk towards your foot and then walk towards your hip. Walk towards your foot, walk towards your hip. And if you need to, just be at a 90-degree bend, that's fine, and you just walk back and forth, nice and easy. Last one here, one of my favorites, called World's Greatest Stretch, but we are just calling it our lunge with our twist and reach. So my right leg's forward, my right arm's gonna go towards the ground, turning away from the leg, turn and reach up. If I had to pick one stretch to do out of all of these, if I wanted to get a quick warm up in, it would incorporate this exercise right here. A lot of times I'll see people do this where they go here, which is okay. Ideally on this, we want to work that range in the ankle, so lean forward, turn and reach up. Lean forward, turn, reach up. And rest. So we got to get the other side. So starting with that other leg, nice and wide with the feet, wide with the hands. Big circles one direction, about 10 times. Once you got about 10, go 10 the other direction. Dropping the back knee if you need to, but really focusing on leaning forward. All the angles working in that hip and that knee and the ankle. And now going forward, leaning, working the range in the ankle here, allowing the knee to go over the toe with the heel down and push back. Lean forward, push back. And I got shorter legs, so it's easier to get the legs straight, and I have a little bit more flexibility. So if you're slightly bent, that's okay. You're still stretching out that hamstring. And you want to just keep working at this and working towards where you can get the legs straighter. I always recommend just keep the hands on the floor, go as far as you can versus even coming up, because then we're adding in a whole imbalance factor. So now go wide with the hand from this foot. My same hand of this leg goes on the knee. I'm going to push it out, turn against it, and relax. And this is where you can sit more back. Allow the knee just to stay over the ankle. You can lean into it if you'd like. Watch rolling your ankle, so keep it nice and strong, but you're really working into the back and the outer hip here. As we're focusing on helping out the knee and relieving any pain or preventing any issue, we really have to work our way up and focus on the hips, and that's what we're doing here. So either go to a 90-90 stretch, or you can go to the pigeon pose, wherever you're comfortable. Lean forward as much as you can, walk towards the foot, walk towards the hip, towards the foot, towards the hip. And both positions are real good. You can get just as good of a stretch in this 90-90. You'll even feel it a little bit more in your internal rotation here of this back leg. Last one, my favorite. Let's get to that lunge stretch with our twist and reach. Leaning in, turning away from the leg. This hand and arm is just here for support. Turn and reach up. And rest. So now you're going to stand in a wide straddled position, reaching towards the ground where you're comfortable, bend if you need to, and you're going to lean to one side then the other very carefully. If you don't have the flexibility here, maybe you use like a couch or box to support you. I'd want you really supported, and I really want you to focus on keeping your heel down. So only go as far as you can, heel down. The more flexible you feel, work in lower, but nice and easy. What happens a lot of times, people can pull too much in here because they're really tight in that inner thigh. So just go easy as you can, working back and forth. Now work it in a little bit narrower, but a pretty wide squat stance. We're gonna do our squat stretch, working down into that squat, booty back up. Also, another of my favorites, it'd be the lunge, twist, and reach, and this stretch, squat stretch. Everybody needs to do this. I generally, unless someone has a background in squatting, will see people squat correctly with good mechanics and good form. So you want to really focus on heel down, pushing the outside of the feet, use the arms to drive to the inside of the knees to push them out. And then focusing on that back, belly in tight, good posture. So now we're gonna do our squat, stretch, hold. This is in a lot of my videos because I like to drill this one of how important it is. You're just working on being able to hold and be comfortable in a squat position. Notice how my feet are wider, knees out, and versus it being like an active squat, which is great too, we're doing more of these stretching squats. So you can rock side to side, work in that range of motion. Now, if you need a rest for 10 seconds, you can. I'm gonna explain this next one. We're gonna do it for 30 seconds. So holding in this position, I'm gonna squeeze my knees in. I'm gonna resist it with my elbows. So you can do this higher if you need to. You squeeze in and resist, and then you relax and stretch out. So we're gonna squeeze in for 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8. I'm resisting it with my elbows. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now relax, and now you just stretch into that squat. We're gonna do one more time of this. Work into that stretch, about 10 more seconds. I'm relaxing. Now I'm gonna squeeze in again. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax and work into that stretch. And your legs are probably burning here, so it's time to sit down, take a break. So now, if you have a barbell or even a dumbbell, this is a great alternative to SMR, self-myofascial release, with the foam roller. The one thing about rolling with a barbell is it is heavy and it's smaller than a foam roller, so it can really dig in. So if it's too much weight for you, then you definitely want to go to a lighter option, because most of the barbells at the stations are going to be 45 pound. So maybe you just go to a 20 to 30 pound dumbbell. And what you would do, similar to what we're going to do with the barbell, is you would place the dumbbell with the heavier weighted or rubber portion on the outside, and you allow the bar to roll down that quad. And this is really specific to if you have pain in the front of the knee. So you're going to go leg straight as you can, foot up. Start at the very end of one barbell so that you have the least amount of weight, and just start right above the kneecap and just slowly, what's called versus rolling, it's really kneading or smashing into the quad. And if you find somewhere that's tight, just kind of press into that knot or spot. The other thing I'll like to do is I'll squeeze my quad and relax. I'll squeeze, so I'll activate the muscle, relax. Squeeze, relax. So because the floor's here, I'm limited to like bend, extend my leg like we do in knee rehab 1 with the foam roller. But this is nicer because it digs in a little bit deeper. I'm able to sit and kind of relax a little bit, unless this is pushing in a lot. And I don't have to hold myself in that plank. If you feel okay here with this thicker portion of the bar, you could bring the barbell up to where you have, as far as you want to go, more of this narrower portion digging in. The further down you go, so the further I pull this bar up, the more weight on this side against gravity, so it's going to really push down. And if I find any spots, I just dig in. A lot of times what people will find is they feel kind of some radiating, tension that goes down to that knee. And so a lot of times it's because you're finding tight knots that you're digging into to get to release. And those knots are causing that radiating pain. You can work all the way up the quad here. You can turn your feet. So if I turn my foot in, I can hit a little bit more of the outer quad portion. I can turn my foot to the outside and hit more the inner portion of that quad. When I do that, I might actually want to transition how the barbell's angled for that. So spend a good 2 minutes per side. Let's go ahead, we'll switch legs just so for the purpose of the video. So I'm here, starting above that kneecap, just slowly rolling up. Whenever I have some kind of general front knee pain, especially if I do a leg day, I'll do this to prevent any knee issues or knee pain. And then I also like doing it even as a warm-up to squat or for my lower body day, so that I can really loosen up those quads and get some good blood flow for a more efficient workout. And just pick different angles. Turn your feet different ways. So here I can turn the foot out, hip more the inside. There's a lot of different options where you could position the leg to roll in. So, and this, a lot of people ask me, should I roll before or after a workout? It's really your choice. I prefer, it kind of depends on the workout. I prefer to do it before, depending on the workout, but if I'm really tight, I might also do it after. But I like to definitely be a little bit warmed up, just like we did with some of the dynamic stretching before I roll. And then I go to my workout. So what we're gonna do here, quickly at the end, if you've got a lower body workout you're about to go do, I'd say go do it now. Maybe incorporate this in after, especially as some auxiliary work. But if you're specifically wanting to kind of focus on some balance, we're gonna do a couple balance exercises and then we'll be done. So all you're gonna do is start in a standing position. I am gonna use the timer. We're gonna hold 30 seconds per each of these exercises. So what you're gonna do is a little bit of a sequence. We're gonna go down and do a single leg squat. And we're gonna hold here for 30 seconds. If you need to, you could place the back foot down for a little balance or use a wall or something. But the idea is we're gonna just get as low as we can and hold, just to work on the stability in the knee. And just allow your knee to transition back and forth. You know, a lot of things you can add into this is bouncing a ball on the wall or on the floor just to add in a little bit more stability factor. Taking your shoes off will even make the balance harder. Our shoe gives us a little bit of a brace around our foot. Gives us more stability. Good, rest. So now we're gonna do some movement with those squats. I want you to imagine you're standing in the middle of a square. My left foot's down. I'm gonna come down and reach my right hand, so my opposite hand, to one of the front corners of that square. And then I go down and I reach back to the back corner and just go as far as you can. Down, reach to the back. Go ahead and do one more time of that. Forward, back up, and just reach as low as you can. You might only be able to go to here, and that's fine. Really focus more on bending down, reach, bend down on the leg, and reach. Same leg. I'm going to put this leg forward. We're going to go to a lunge hold now. So we're just going to hold here 30 seconds. And you're just holding. So that's what I like to incorporate for my rehabilitation, is a little bit of holding and then a little bit of movement. And if this bugs you at all, just do a squat hold with the best form that you can, and that would be good to help keep those knees strong and rehabilitate anything. A lot of times I just like to focus on my technique in this hold. So rest a second. A big thing to make sure in that lunge is your hip width. You step back, your feet should be apart from each other, not one behind the other. Go straight down, so knee over the heel, knee right under the hip. Have as best you can, a 90-degree bend. Now for our movement portion, we're gonna reach, similar like we did on the corners, where we're just gonna reach for the foot with our opposite hand and come back up. Try to stay as low as we can. So as you work on this one, you might be higher up. I want you to work towards being able to get low and get that good range of motion. All right, we're gonna do the other side and then we'll be done. So you're gonna come down now. We're gonna do that hold. So we're on that other leg. Down, hold 30 seconds. If it bugs the knee, think about maybe how you're positioned. Maybe you gotta sit your booty back a little bit more. We wanna work towards the ability of the knee to track over the toe with our heel down. But if you have too much tension there, maybe sit back so you can get a little bit more activation, the hamstring and the glute. And you're just getting as low as you can. Only tap that back foot if you need to. And rest. Then we're gonna go into our four corners. My right foot is down. I'm gonna reach my left hand, so I'm gonna go down, reach to one of the front corners, and come back up. I go down, reach, and back up. Down, reach, and back up. Those back corners are the tough ones. Just do the best you can to reach as far as you can. Tap the back foot if you need to, but try to keep it lifted. Down, reach, back up, down, reach, back up, down, reach. One more, down, reach. And now we're just gonna go to our lunge hold. Same leg, get good spread out feet position, down, 90-degree bend, focusing on weight in the front heel. A lot of times if we feel a pull or anything bad in that front leg, the front of the back leg, a lot of it's just mobility and flexibility in that hip. So a lot of times I find if I try to, the knee's too far out, you'll feel too much pull. It's a very intense stretch. So try to bend, relax that back leg, put the weight in the front leg, and this is a good way to focus on that. And rest, last thing, you're gonna go down. We're gonna reach for that foot and back up. Reach down, back up. 30 seconds, getting as low as you can the whole time. So we're holding low, reaching. Good posture at the top, back nice and flat, tummy in tight. A lot of times I'll see a lot of real poor posture on lunges. So use this holding option to get nice and strong in that position. And rest. All right, last thing. If you're going into your lower body workout, I'd say do it now for a stretch at the end of your workout today. My favorite is couch stretch, and that's in knee rehab 1. I'd say always just do that one. But if for an additional option, and it is good to have like a wall or couch or something, bench, whatever, behind you to hold you. But you're gonna go knees wide, feet tucked under you, get really hollow, and you're gonna just lean back. So what I like to do is have something to hold me when I lean back so that it's not too much to kind of hold my position. I can kind of lean. So another thing you can do is put your hands and just lean back as far as you're comfortable. A lot of times I'll have people that this is too intense. If that is too much, then just go to like a good lunge stretch or something like that. But we're trying to get nice and deep into the quads. So just hold here as long as you can, rest when you need to. Always work towards maybe even leaning to one side, then the other. Try to have your feet right under you versus flaring out to the side. Your quads will fight the stretch, so they'll flare your feet out to fight the stretch. And holding this a good 2 minutes or longer is a really good goal. This is one I find I have to work on a lot too. And for my jiu-jitsu followers, this is a good one to do for all those kind of movements as well. Okay, so that's it for knee rehab 2. Hopefully you liked what we did today. Definitely let me know if you have any feedback. All right, thank you. Bye-bye.